From South Carolina Public Radio, this is the South Carolina Lede. I'm your host, Gavin Jackson, and this episode was recorded on March 24th, 2026 from South Carolina Public Radio Studios here in Columbia. It's still the Ides of March? No, yes? Well, we're treating it like it is. Don't worry. We're not letting our guard down. On this episode of The Lede, we look at the legislative week ahead with the House back in along with the Senate for week 11 here at the State House. Senator Lindsey Graham took to the airwaves to continue to push his hard line in this war against Iran, and one Republican member of the delegation is speaking out against it. Speaking of Republicans, we are on the campaign trail. Up in Anderson with Congressman Ralph Norman, and in Greenville with Low Country businessman Reddy. So stay tuned, folks. We're in it. We got multiple ads running on the airwaves.
Oh, wow, man.
Hate to say it, but it's campaign time, folks. Also, it's always a great time for you guys to check out the State House Gavel at SCETV.org/thegavel, where Tuesday through Friday, Mayan, Schechter, and myself bring you recaps, previews, big and small, State House moments, meeting schedule highlights, photos, videos, and more. Speaking of using or losing, no one said that? No, we were just talking about it? No, it's okay. We're going to use it anyway. We want you to use our voicemail at 803-563-7169, or we will lose the wind down section. Your voicemails fuel the wind down section. Without support by you, well, you're stuck with me and AT. Also, without the support like you, we wouldn't be on the air. You guys got to donate. Also, we're in the middle of our spring radio pledge drive. Go to southcarolinapublicradio.org. Hit that donate button. Give us some love. Give us some life. 800-256-8535. Thank you. Okay, let's start in the State House. The House is back from its furlough week, and the Senate is also in for week 11 of the legislative session. Looking at some meetings this week in the Senate, on Tuesday, a Judiciary Subcommittee will meet again on data center bills, and the Senate Finance Committee will get a revenue update from the Revenue and Fiscal Affairs Office. This will guide them as they continue to craft their version of the budget, which has been sent over from the House, $15.4 billion. On Wednesday, there is a full Senate Education Committee meeting as well as a Joint Bond Review Committee meeting at 10. For the House, looking at their calendar for meetings, on Tuesday there will be a full Judiciary Committee meeting and 3M Committee meeting, both at 10 a.m. before the House goes in at noon. There's also a full Education Committee meeting an hour after adjournment. And we are getting to the time of session of the final committee push here. I know we're in this brisk saunter, but there's only so many bills that can go through committees right now. And again, there's no crossover, so it's no longer observed, but that is typically a month before adjournment. And it always served as a demarcation line of what was likely going to survive in the sprint to sine die. So that's when things saunter and sprint. And again, we're like 2 weeks away from that. So, and there's also another furlough week there. So we're basically 1 week away at this point, folks. We'll be crossing over soon enough, even though we don't say that as much as we used to. Something we do say is
hemp.
That's right. The hemp bill is set to return to the House. Again, it's on its way, sort of. There's a third reading vote in the Senate that's taking place as we're recording. There's discussion on it. They need to do some technical amendments, which could also open the bill up to more amendments. So again, this bill came over from the House. It was just a very light regulation bill, basically prohibiting anyone from under 21 from consuming or buying these goods. Now it is that plus all these other things. So we'll see what the plus gets us over in the House. As you remember, guys, we had that huge debate up in the House in early February that completely imploded when it came to trying to regulate this a little bit more. The Senate put a lot of work into this bill. There's support over in the Senate. Again, this bill passed 35-4 in the Senate. So TBD, THC. The Senate also sent the SCDOT modernization bill, S-831, to the House, too. That kind of slipped in between the debate last week. It does not include any revenue increases, such as EV fee increases, since such generation needs to originate in the House.
TBD EV fee.
And that will likely be amended with parts of the House bill, including those EV fees and others, and then voted upon and likely sent back to the Senate. This will be the vehicle for updates to the agency, including its ability to toll. It will reform county transportation committees and make additional changes to agency leadership structures, as well as allowing for public-private partnerships and bringing environmental permitting from the federal level to the state level. Okay, that was just a little bit of what's going on in the State House, and we'll have more for you on Saturday. But let's talk about international affairs in Iran. Senator Lindsey Graham was on Fox News Sunday this past weekend telling Shannon Bream that as the U.S.-Israeli-led war with Iran rages into its fourth week, there's a lot going on still, a lot of very volatile things happening. She asked him about concerns raised by Democrats and specifically Republicans over the expanding war, despite this brief pause amid discussion of a ceasefire when it comes to preventing the United States from continuing to bomb major Iranian oil and gas infrastructure. Right now, that's still up in the air as of our recording, but here's what Graham said on Fox News Sunday.
Well, I'm telling you, what needs to continue is to make sure that the largest state sponsor of terrorism can't get a nuclear weapon to blow us all up and hold us hostage. To the American people, they were 2 weeks away from having 90% enriched uranium to make 10 bombs. They've got missiles that go 4,000 kilometers. We're not going to live that way anymore. Since 1979, these people have been terrorizing the world. They've got American blood on their hands, and here's what we accomplished in 20 days. Their missile program has been obliterated.
But
their
we saw
nuclear
the missile
program
that went
has been
towards
obliterated,
and
they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil, control that island, let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Carg Island. We believe in their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterback, and this has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine. And here's what I want to do. I want to get with Chris. I want to sprint to peace. As the war winds down, I want peace to ramp up. The reason we don't have Saudi Arabia and Israel making peace is October the 7th, 2023, Iran through Hamas attacked Israel, stopping normalization. I want to take up and complete what Biden started. As soon as we get Iran defanged so they can never do another October 7th, I want to start up peace talks between Saudi and Israel this year. I want a peace deal between Saudi and Israel normalizing, ending the Arab-Israeli conflict. It's been going on for 2,000 years this year, and you can't do it with a lethal Iran. So we're weeks away from this Iranian regime not having the capability to stop peace.
That was Senator Lindsey Graham with Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday. And you heard him mention the Marines who may be on the ground soon. There's even talk of sending some paratroopers from nearby Fort Bragg and Fayetteville, North Carolina to the conflict zone. But Graham mentioned the Battle of Iwo Jima in that quote, and many media reports have pointed out that that battle resulted in the loss of nearly 7,000 military members and thousands more injured in the World War II battle on that Pacific island. Now, that discussion has prompted some folks to weigh in, including 1st District Congresswoman and gubernatorial candidate Nancy Mace, who's a Republican, and she continued to hit the senator on social media, writing that, quote, Lindsey Graham needs to be removed from the Situation Room. I don't want to hear one word from a guy with no kids desperately sending our sons and daughters into war on the ground in Iran. Now, Mace has also previously posted saying, quote, Lindsey Graham wants American troops on the ground in Iran. Not his kids, yours. Not for freedom, but for the price of oil. Unless he's suiting up for Carg Island himself, he should sit down, quote. Now, Mace has recently drawn fire from the White House over her efforts to help evacuate Americans from the Middle East amid the ongoing conflict. This according to reporting from The Guardian. Trump administration officials have taken particular issue with Mace's outreach to Saudi Arabia, where she unilaterally engaged with officials to facilitate departures for Americans, then asked the State Department to requisition a Saudi commercial plane to transport 300 people. Separately, this is from The Guardian, officials said that Mace, who is currently running for governor, as we know, encouraged a group of Americans to relocate from a high-risk region to Jordan without a clear plan for onward travel. That forced the State Department to send a plane to pick up the group as it found itself stranded in Jordan. Now, Mace filed for governor on Monday. She made it official. Unlike some others in this race, she did not advise the media on it, so we didn't know she was there. And we would have gone, but didn't know, so I have nothing to bring you. We also know that Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evett is set to file on Thursday per her campaign, and we'll be there. Also, we have some more updates for you on filing as it continues through next Monday, March 30th at noon. Despite rumors to the contrary and private concerns of Democrats and sluggish fundraising, Hopkins Democratic Representative Jermaine Johnson filed on Monday to run for governor amid talk that upstate businessman Billy Webster is preparing for a bid. Embattled Charleston lawyer Mullins McLeod has also filed. Speaking of filing, SC Attorney General Alan Wilson filed last week, and we were there when he turned in the paperwork. Now, Wilson held a press conference after he turned in that paperwork, and I asked him about businessman Reddy jumping in the race and self-funding, as well as who may be considered more Doge than the other. Since Reddy had a group called Doge SC, and every candidate is positioning themselves to look for efficiencies and waste in state government, as have their predecessors, I just want to point out. Regulations, red tape, everything's been under the microscope as well as audits, but that won't stop the campaign trail from churning out some great content, folks. Now, later in this clip, the state's Joe Bustos asks Wilson about whether he thinks Reddy will split the voting bloc of Congressman Ralph Norman and Congresswoman Nancy Mace. But here's Alan Wilson.
First, I use the term Doge as a universal term. We all learned about it, in the 2024 election. I use it because it's what people understand. So no one has cornered the market or owns the branding of Doge. Doge is a verb, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring efficiencies into government. As far as other people joining, I think it's great. I think South Carolinians should have as many voices representing them as possible in this race for governor. I welcome people who believe that they have something to offer. If he's representing a certain group of people in this state, let's let those voices be heard. That does not intimidate me at all. I welcome Rom. In fact, I get along with Rom. He is a friend. We're not enemies, we're competitors. And that's how I see people like him. For people who have the ability to write, $1 million checks, good for them. I don't fault people for that. I'm a middle class guy. I can't write $1 million check, which is why I have to go out there and roll up my sleeves and work hard in the trenches to earn each and every vote. So I'm not going to be able to, buy the kind of TV that other people can, but I can tell you this right now, we have been campaigning for the last 9 months in every single corner of South Carolina, in every single county. We have gone to city after city after city. We're meeting with people all over the state of South Carolina to talk about our vision, our proactive vision for South Carolina. And I'm telling you right now, it's resonating. Every single poll has us as a front runner. If not, depending on which campaign's releasing it, I seem to be the one that's always near the top or at the top. So I tell people all the time, I would rather be me right now than any other candidate. And that's why I feel like I'm going to probably be attacked a lot, is because I'm standing in the way of some of the other candidates and their ambitions.
Do you anticipate Reddy taking away from the Ralph Normans and Nancy Mace's support as opposed to your own support?
I will let you all figure that out. The political pundits can determine how they think his entry into the race will affect the race. I'm just going to focus on the things that I can control. What I can control is my message, my vision, my work ethic. Mike and I and our team, we are out there going to earn every single vote. I tell people every time I walk into a room, I say the office of governor does not belong to any one person. It belongs to the people of South Carolina. And this is a job interview. You can't buy this job, right? Some people are going to try to lie their way into this job, but we're going to go out there and we're going to earn our way into this job.
Wilson is still the only mainstream political candidate in the race to announce a running mate with Florence Republican Senator Mike Rickenbach. Candidates aren't required to name one until after the June primary, and Rickenbach was there with Wilson as well as his wife Jennifer and their son, who was with other campaign volunteers holding signs. Family affair. Now, Reddy, the low country millionaire who is self-funding his campaign, has filed to run for the Republican gubernatorial nomination last week, and he's come out swinging. Reddy has launched major TV ad buys, pushed out a polished website and web videos, and kicked off a campaign rally tour starting in the upstate with stops in Greenville and Spartanburg set for this week. Me, Gavin Jackson, I was there in Greenville Monday evening for Reddy's first campaign rally that drew around 150 people at the Hotel Hartness, and they enjoyed an open bar, hors d'oeuvres, and an hour-long speech of policy proposals that people actually stuck around for. You love to see it. They laughed, they clapped, they listened. And when asked about his first week in campaign mode, Reddy said it has been similar to what he saw when overseeing his group Doge SC. That's what he told me. Take a listen.
We have weaponized government against the citizen. That's not what it's supposed to be. I mean, elected officials were there to protect our God-given rights. Instead, they've taken that power and we've literally weaponized government against citizens. The probate courts, the family courts, these agencies, people are hurting. The ones that are not hurting are the donors and the elites, and people like me, because we're connected, we have money. But the people you talk to and the people I met during the Doge SC campaigns, some of them will bring tears to your eyes. Honestly, they would.
Reddy is also out with a new ad called 2 Lanes, something he elaborated on when speaking with me Monday evening when I asked him about other candidates in the race promising similar policies and actions. And you will definitely be seeing this ad a lot, but here's him talking about it.
And I love it when people say that, because I say there's only 2 lanes in this race. In one lane, you have a beautiful word. It's called the ruling class. They've been there for 50 plus years, the 4 of them. Why haven't they done all this? And now they take money from all the PACs and these. South Carolina ranks 40 out of 50 for transparency of campaign donations. So it's like a blind date. You go vote for them and you have no idea who bought and paid for them. And you can't find out because it's all blanketed. For me, I'm a business guy. I'm like the president. I went to the Wharton Business School. I've been in the private sector. I've built businesses. I've created jobs, never run for office. And I'm not taking money from anyone, not even small dollar donations. So to me, there's just these 2 lanes, the ruling class and me. That's how I see it.
Reddy also says as governor, he will use his influence to push the South Carolina Senate to change chairmanship rules when they return for the 2027 session. This is the bully pulpit right here, folks. He says committees should elect their own chairman. Chairman should have an expiration date. His preference is 2 years consecutively. However, he'd be amenable to 4 years to align with senatorial terms. Right now, it's all based on seniority. Whoever's been on that committee longest and it's the party that's in power, they are over that committee. And he was definitely picking a lot on Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Luke Rankin, who's a Republican at Horry County. He was the target of a lot of his consternation on Monday. And he also wants to see the Senate Majority Leader position, which is held by Edgefield Republican Senator Shane Massey, turn over every 2 years, which would be complicated because right now that position is up for election every 4 years, which aligns with Senate terms, which makes things a little difficult. I know it sounds like these are just perfunctory positions and it's easy to say they do X, Y, and Z, but chairmanship, leadership really do create cohesive strategies and unity for the most part and stability. So it would be very interesting to see what this deliberative body would be like without seniority in place. And we'll be bringing you more from Reddy in the coming days as he begins campaigning across the state. Like I said, he spoke for about an hour and there was a lot there to it, and I would love to bring you some more, but we are just moving and grooving right now, folks. Don't worry, campaign trail, we're not stopping anytime soon. Speaking of, Congressman Ralph Norman was in the upstate on Sunday with a crowd of around 150 folks in Anderson, where local and fellow Freedom Caucuser Representative April Cromer helped introduce him to the crowd. And apologies for the audio, there was no malt box. Neither was there at Ron Reddy's event, which is why I'm not giving you that audio too. You can watch these videos on YouTube at SCETV News because you'll hear.
Because in our state, the people, we have voted a supermajority of Republicans to be there to represent us. But we're not getting things done because of the Democrats. We're not getting things done because of the corruption and the Republicans that are currently serving. But Ralph is not that person. He's proven that he's not there to go along to get along. He is there to fight for the taxpayers, for the true people, and for our values. He's been a fighter in Congress, watching over our tax dollars. He will be the best CEO this state has ever had as governor. I mean, he's the only candidate running that has a proven conservative and proven fiscally conservative record and a proven businessman. He's the only one for us. I've served in Columbia for 2 terms, and I've seen up close and personal how corrupt it is when you get there. Coming from business, always working hard, all my life, and you think when you get there, well, we can work with these people, we're gonna get all these things done, and you're so excited, and that's just not what happens. And I'm proud to be a member of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus, and we're holding the line and we're trying to push back, but we need backup. and Congressman Ralph Norman is the backup we need to take our state to the next level.
That was Anderson Republican Representative April Cromer. Now, Norman has the endorsement of the far-right House Freedom Caucus. Just a little note there when it comes to his support in the State House. Now, Norman is also settling into a pretty standard winding stump speech at this point on the trail. It does move all over a little bit. It is a little bit more vague than what I heard from Reddy, for example. But his focus continues to be on hitting against the way things have been run by fellow Republicans in Columbia for more than 2 decades, as well as hitting the brakes on growth in the state. And remember, Congressman Norman was a House member in the State House here as well.
The Norman administration will not allow the federal government to shut this state down, call it another coronavirus, call it whatever you want. I don't trust the federal government. We're keeping South Carolina open. I will not allow men to participate in women's sports. I will not allow biological men to go in women's bathrooms. I'm going to cut your taxes, but we're going to cut your expenses. There will be no crony capitalism with me. I will put business people in these boards and commissions. People who, again, have made money and lost money, people who've been successful in their field. I can't tell you the people who have called me, who, like on the roads, they've run successful businesses. They want to come on board and not game the system. They just want to show their expertise. I've built roads before, but they've taken it to another level with their companies because they're specialized in it. That's who I will put on our boards and commissions. The growth, Anderson County is going to experience growth like you've never seen it. The whole state is. I was telling some people as you came in, for every person that's leaving South Carolina, we're getting 2. Why are we giving away our money to companies who are going to use our natural resources, further tear up our roads, further use our infrastructure? We are not ready for growth like we're having. We're just not. You put the brakes on it. I want quality over quantity. And no longer will a company be able to tell me that they are going to supply jobs and that's it. My question to them is, what else are you going to bring? Before you get $1 of our tax money, you're going to prove what are you going to bring back to the state.
Norman also dropped his first TV campaign ad of the cycle titled Crooks.
Lawmakers voted to give themselves a pay raise.
Paid for with your taxpayer dollars.
Columbia politicians are a bunch of crooks, raising their pay, not fixing our roads. State spending's up 45%, wasted on garbage.
Ralph Norman, called a taxpayer superhero by Citizens Against Government Waste.
I will clean up Columbia, starting with term limits to stop the corruption.
Ralph Norman, the conservative for governor.
All right, that was Ralph Norman there. And on the way out, just for your own edification, the average price for a gallon of gas in the state is now $3.67. That is a full $1 higher than where we were 4 weeks ago, before the start of the U.S.-Israeli-led war against Iran. Welcome to the Wind Down section, our little break from the news. We're glad you're here, along with A.T. Shire, lead podcast producer.
Hello, folks. Hello. Glad to be here. Glad to be here on this Monday.
It's a Tuesday.
Is it? It's Tuesday. Wow.
Remember, we had a little time travel. I know I time traveled too. I was in the upstate.
That's tough. I got it. We got it recorded, folks. That's really rough. Okay, so I spent the whole morning in a doctor's office with the little baby Dominic.
Chunk? Should we call him?
I mean, we
need a name for this kid.
He's not fat. He's just huge. He's a medically large baby. His height
I'm not fat shaming him.
Truly
Chunk is adorable.
Off the charts. You know, it was above all the other lines, and the nurse tech was aghast. He literally gasped at the size of him. And when he realized he was 2 months, he goes, "I thought he was 7 months old."
This baby is like
it was
kid.
so
Stop.
bad. It was so bad. It's really rough. I was there for 2 hours before the doctor saw me, and Dom did a great job getting to that point, but then lost his mind and went ballistic. So that's why I think it's Monday.
Because he had to get
folks.
shots.
He had to get shots.
I would be the same way, even to this day. I'd be like, "Scrow!"
You just look the other way. You don't even notice you're getting the shots anymore. I remember when I first discovered that.
Oh yeah, I don't look when they do my blood. I'm like, I just don't need to.
That's fine. I mean, who loves needles?
Some
eraser? No. Hellraiser?
Some freaks.
Cenobites? Anyway, Gavin, I felt bad for Rena this morning. She
went on shots too?
No, she wished. No, she experienced a great evil of this world.
Oh, God.
In that, as I picked her up and I put her down, first thing in the morning, she walked around,
stepped right in a cat barf.
It's she almost 2 years old. She made it this far. She stepped right in a cat barf. Real rough.
Welcome to the resistance,
yeah,
girl.
you grow up real fast. It's that and when you stub your toe for the first time.
Oh, my God, stubbing the toe.
I've seen her run and stub her toe, and she becomes a little adult at that moment. It's rough.
That's when you slowly see the innocence fading away.
Yes, every single
you
stub.
realize how cruel the world is.
Tinkerbell dies a little bit more every time.
Yeah, so like I said in the pod, I was up in the upstate this weekend. It's funny, I'm just I take my weekends as they come, in a sense. I had a great fun Saturday, bopped around town, but then at the same time, I was like, hey, campaign trail's here. I'm going to go spend time up in Anderson and hear these things because...
Working on a Sunday.
Well, especially because, especially for the congressmen and, men and women in this race, they're only really here so many days a week, and to get the video, and I had sit-downs. I had to sit down with Congressman Norman, so I'm like, okay, I need some good B-roll. I need to see him interacting with folks. I've been doing that, but you want more as much as you can. So I hadn't been to Anderson in a while, and it was really great to get up there and check out the area because so much has changed.
Mr. Anderson.
I think the last time I was there was Election Day early voting 2024, which is horrible. Then I also overnighted in Greenville.
Overnighted.
Embassy Suites in Greenville. Getting that Hilton Gold status soon, folks. Don't worry, you'll know when I get it. But I loved it. It was great because, a lot of the places were sold out because of basketball up there.
Sure, yeah.
So I stayed a little bit further outside of town on the way in, I guess in the suburbs. Very fancy suburbs, I will say, up there in Greenville. But it's always fun to try a different area and to see different places, and also where's the Planet Fitness, and where can I eat?
We've all been downtown.
Where's the Walmart Supercenter so I can go get my microwavable
24
meals?
hours. Ooh, don't microwave the
that's
food,
what I do
Gavin.
when I'm overnighting. Oh, yeah.
How many Diet Cokes was this? How many Diet Cokes was this? How many Diet Cokes was the Sunday?
1 Celsius. Not even. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was loud. I had 1 fountain, extra large Diet Coke.
I can't even fault you on that.
Oh, baby. Another.
I'd have gotten a soda.
I was in withdrawal on the drive back this morning. But it was just super
itchy skin, folks. That's what happens when he's in withdrawal.
I've been eting so bad and
You've been microwaving plastic. Yeah.
Well, it gets you stronger, but also the skin. I'm like, okay, we gotta clamp this down. It's springtime, but I will say it's been not enjoyable, but fascinating because as everyone talks about roads and bridges and the crumbling, it's not the crumbling anymore. It's the congestion, which we all know about. We are very fortunate here in Columbia, where it's not too bad. Downtown, yes, there's a mass exodus. You can. It is
yes, you can set your clock
to 6, and it's truly not as bad as it could be. It actually moves because there's no way you can get fast enough to actually get into a car accident.
There's also ways that you can sort of get around it a lot of the time if you know your byways.
But if you're doing Malfunction Junction or you're 77,
put on the podcast, folks.
But then I'm telling you, when you go to the Greenville area and you're in the suburb areas and you are trying to get around, it is it's multiple downtown Columbians.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
just
terrible.
You have 5 cars getting through a light
up there.
The drivers aren't the best in the upstate. We're going to say that, guys.
West Ashley.
It's just thank you. Yeah, that's
where you're
exactly
just what the hell is this?
Yeah.
This is
what you
terrible.
want. And the houses are still being built. They are packing them in,
nuts.
and I'm like,
Mamma mia!
And I know that's
Spicy
happening
meatball.
here in the Midlands too, but. Again, I feel like we're kind of insulated, and I'm probably saying too much because the people start moving here too. But
I think there was just a travel and leisure article that came out that was
about barbecue, right?
A new SC hotspot, and no, it's not Charleston, and no, it's not Greenville. It's Columbia, folks.
They got barbecue too.
And you're like, no, shut up. Don't tell them to come here.
But I also think, and this will be a good thought experiment if people want to call in anymore. I guess you guys hate us, but. When I think it's interesting to talk about and think about what, everyone's talking, growth, it's so bad, it's changing the culture. But what is the culture of South Carolina, right? I spent my first 4 years here in Florence, and I really identify the PD as South Carolina to me. Other people, they know Charleston really well, so they're going to say that's the Charleston area, like, or they have vacation in Myrtle Beach, so they associate that. The Midlands is kind of interesting here in Columbia, especially, where we're just kind of like,
we got the capital,
but it could almost be anywhere.
Got the capital,
and then you get to the upstate, and it's a completely different vibe. So you just get these different tastes, and every region's known for that. But what is true South Carolina? There's no way to put a finger on that, but it's fascinating to feel that, especially when you travel around and see the differences, because people in Charleston, if they don't leave the peninsula,
they could stay there their whole life.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I love South Carolina. It's like, well, you know what goes on in the rest of the state? Like,
it's
TBD.
very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
So I think, and everyone's very aware of that, but I think when you start thinking like that, when you travel around, it gives you perspective. And then also, I just want to update on the foot. 5 more days in the boot.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Only
for
one more pod. Only one more episode.
Thank you for all your concerns, but I'm low key tired about talking about getting in a fight with the sidewalk.
Thank God.
And hearing everyone else's foot stories.
You'll have the foot out for episode 700, Gavin.
Oh, I'll be emerging from my cocoon.
That's not next week though. I think it's 2 weeks from now. Anyway, Gavin, say goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
Have a good week. It's Tuesday, and this is going to come out on Tuesday,
yes,
so I can say that.
Thank you for bearing with us, and like you heard, AT had a busy day too, so there's a reason why we're a little late today, folks. It's okay. But give us a shout. Let us know what you think about the state of South Carolina, what it means to you. 803-563-7169. We'll get you in the wind down. And you can always show us your appreciation by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. And you can stay up to date with the latest news on SCETV.org and SouthCarolinaPublicRadio.org. And don't forget to support your local newspapers. The South Carolina Lede is a production of South Carolina Public Radio. Our producer is A.T. Shire. Amy Crouch is our supervising producer. Sean Birch is our executive producer. This podcast is produced with support from PRX and is made possible in part by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, as well as listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina. For the South Carolina Lede, I'm Gavin Jackson. Be well, South Carolina.
Those are great.
Hey, wow, those pants! God, I wish I had a pair of pants that look that comfortable. And now this hurts?